All right, what's up? Welcome in. This is Philadelphia Eagles Now. Hope everybody out there is having a fantastic Saturday, gearing up for Eagles Colts on Sunday. Bringing you this video from home because there's a lot to get to, and this is why you subscribe, whether I'm at the Chat Sports Studios or at the crib, bring you daily videos on the Philadelphia Eagles. And coming up on today's show, a lot of injury news that we have to get to. Darren Sproles told Kay Adams that he could come out of retirement if a team had called, and he would be okay with being the Eagles punt returner for a playoff run. We'll dive into that. But first, Eagles-Colts watch party tomorrow. Pre-game show starts at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. During the watch party, we'll be giving away a Brian Dawkins signed Philadelphia Eagles helmet. To get in the running to be a winner, follow Valley Brothers Collectibles on Facebook. On the Brian Dawkins post, I want you to comment Eagles Now, and we'll announce the winner tomorrow on Sunday during our watch party. A lot of people have already commented, so there are a lot of people in the running to have a chance at winning that Dawkins helmet, the most legendary Eagle of all time, in my opinion. Follow all of those steps, and during our watch party, it's going to be a blast. Audience interaction. We'll be drinking some beers, have some really good Super Chat games cooked up once again, giving you some play-by-play, and then we'll be live for a post-game show as well. So subscribe to join us for our watch party tomorrow and for daily analysis, news, rumors, live shows, and watch parties right here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. Interactive and informative content. That's the standard, and that's what I bring to you. So to the Eagles injury front. There are a lot of guys who are banged up following that Monday Night Football game against the Washington Commanders, and there's been a little bit of a scheduling quirk, right, with all of these games combined together in a short amount of time for Philadelphia. Hasn't necessarily been ideal, and because of that, the Eagles injury report is lengthy as they look to get back on track following that first loss of the season to Washington. All of these players were featured on the injury report this week, and we'll continue to monitor their statuses heading into Sunday. Limited participants late in the week. A.J. Brown, ankle and rest. Jason Kelce, ankle and rest. Haason Reddick, thigh injury. DeVonta Smith, knee injury. Fletcher Cox, foot and rest. Britton Covey, thigh. James Bradberry, rest. Landon Dickerson, rest. Brandon Graham, Lane Johnson, Isaac Seumalo, Darius Slay, Josh Sweat, resting as well, but we saw Sweat took that hit to the knee on that chop block against Washington. Did not practice. Robert Quinn, back and rest, and Josh Jobe with the hamstring injury. So that right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 players featured on the Eagles injury report. And while the Eagles have a lot of players on the report, it is a good sign that they added the rest designation next to the names of some key players on this Eagles roster. A.J. Brown, who was held basically silent against Washington with just one catch, also had that deep ball from Jalen Hurts in his hands before it got intercepted. One of the 4 turnovers for Philadelphia. Jason Kelce also had that rest designation put next to his name. The same could be said for Fletcher Cox, who admitted that he felt like shit after playing 70 snaps against the Commanders on Monday night. I had to talk about Fletcher Cox and the fact that he needs to be better on an earlier show this week. Go check that out. He's making top 10 interior defensive line money, and he has been really bad for the last several games. So that does indicate that the reason they were limited on Thursday was because of rest and not their individual injuries, but nonetheless, there are a lot of Eagles who are banged up. Now, the same can't be said, as I'm a little bit concerned about the status for Haason Reddick, DeVonta Smith, and Britton Covey, who seemingly, the latter, Covey, gets demolished on every single return. And that's why we're going to talk about Darren Sproles coming up, because Britton Covey hasn't given this team anything on the special teams front. As for some of the newest additions for the Birds, Linval Joseph did practice on Thursday, his first day eligible practicing after signing with the Birds, and Ndamukong Suh arrived at the NovaCare complex on Thursday and then was on the practice field on Friday. Unfortunate for him, very unfortunate jersey number. 74. Not a great look for Ndamukong Suh, but 93, his famous number, taken, of course, by Javon Hargraves. So they have a chance to play. Nick Sirianni didn't say whether or not they were going to because he didn't want to give the Indianapolis Colts any information. If I had to guess, I mean, both guys haven't played football in 8 months or so. I'd say Joseph might give the team some snaps, and then Ndamukong Suh probably won't play, but maybe if it's an obvious passing down or rushing down, they put him on the field to just serve as taking up and occupying some space on the interior of that Eagles defensive line. In other Eagles news and rumors, as for the contracts for Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh, Howie Roseman working his magic once again. And both of the contracts for both players are the same. $250,000 signing bonus, base salary of $750,000, $250,000 in per-game roster bonuses, plus a little more than $1 million in incentives. Joseph can earn up to $2.5 million, while he counts $2 million against the Eagles' cap. And then Pro Football Focus with this on Suh. He gets another $125,000 for each playoff win if he participates in 30% or more of the regular season snaps. If he doesn't participate in 30% or more in the regular season, then he gets $125,000 for each postseason win in which he participates in 30% or more of that game snaps. So a little bit of a difference between regular season snaps as well as postseason snaps. It's a deal with a base value of $1.25 million with a maximum payout of $2.5 million. On one hand, Suh is able to wait for the true contenders to emerge. On the other hand, he could have made a lot more, for example, by returning to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but he sees this as an opportunity to win a Super Bowl championship, and let's hope the Eagles are able to bring back that hardware because, man, when I was along the Benjamin Franklin Parkway leading up to the Art Museum for that Eagles parade back in, February of 2018 during the 2017 season, I need to see that again, and I need to see some more Philadelphia Eagles catching beers from the Eagles faithful, chugging them on the way to another legendary Jason Kelce speech. All right, let's get to Darren Sproles here now. So his highlights, obviously, throughout his NFL career, terrific, and it was a great move at the time when the Eagles brought him in. And I think that he has made a case to make it to the Hall of Fame as probably one of, if not the most dynamic return men of all time. He was absolutely sensational with the Chargers, with the Saints, and with the Philadelphia Eagles. And as a returner, this guy gave the Eagles a lot of memories, a lot of solid returns, and put the offense in a spot where they could put points on the board seemingly almost every time he had his hands on the football. And he did this interview with Kay Adams and said that he could give a team an Eric Weddle type of run for the NFL playoffs to try to chase a Super Bowl and help that organization win a Super Bowl. If you remember, it was weird when the Rams last year in the playoffs signed Eric Weddle, and then he ended up winning a Super Bowl championship and actually played in the Super Bowl. And the Eagles right now are dead last in special teams. And that's the other glaring weakness on this team outside of the Eagles' rushing defense. They've been awful with their coverage, but also with their punt and kick returns. Britton Covey, it seems as though every time that he returns a punt or a kick, he just gets demolished. And at Utah, this guy had special ability, but he has not flashed that at the NFL level, and he just might not be cut out to play NFL football. He's a little small, he's a little bit slight, he's not too physical, and that speed that he had at Utah, which allowed him to take it to the crib on countless occasions, hasn't translated to the NFL level. So I'd obviously say that the chances are probably very, very low that the Eagles hit up Darren Sproles outside of an injury and they say, hey, Eric Weddle type of deal, you come back and you join the practice squad, and then we'll be able to legally activate you, and you could be our punt returner. It's pretty epic to talk about. I know that Sproles would be sure-handed back there. I know that Sproles would probably give this team, even though he hasn't played in a couple of years, better punt returns than a guy like Britton Covey, but I do find it unlikely. But it is fascinating because I had floated the idea out there of maybe giving Deshaun Jackson that opportunity to be that punt or kick returner before he signed with the Baltimore Ravens. How about another former Philadelphia Eagle and Darren Sproles who could do the same. It's fun to talk about. It's not too realistic, but to entertain the idea, there's no doubt that the Eagles special teams unit has to be better. All right, that's going to do it here for Philadelphia Eagles Now. Another reminder, subscribe to the channel for videos every single day on the Birds. We will be live starting at 12:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow for our Eagles-Colts watch party. We put the party in watch party and try to make it the best atmosphere outside of actually being at the game. Can't wait for it. Enjoy your Saturdays. I'll catch you tomorrow, and go Birds.